to the Hollis Chapman Show, where we celebrate the power of words and the beauty of storytelling. Join us on this journey as we delve into the minds of successful authors and small business owners who have mastered the art of crafting captivating narratives that inspire, educate, and entertain. Prepare to be inspired as we explore the boundless possibilities that come from sharing stories and experiences that shape our lives and ignite our passions. Through heartfelt conversations and insightful discussions, we uncover the wisdom and creativity that fuel these incredible individuals in their pursuit of greatness. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let the magic of storytelling transport you to new worlds and perspectives. Get ready to be inspired, informed, and uplifted as we embark on this storytelling journey together. Stay tuned for an episode filled with wisdom, inspiration, and the power of words. Welcome to the Hollis Chapman Show, where stories come alive. Let's begin this adventure together. Don't miss out on the opportunity to connect with some of the most talented and compelling voices in literature today. Tune in and let the journey begin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hollis Chapman Show. Happy Friday the 13th. I hope everybody's okay. If you're superstitious today, well, just, everything will be okay. You'll be all right. Hey, we have a wonderful guest here today. He's going to talk about his newest book. Our guest was born in London. Has a strong academic background. That's cool. You're going to love his accent. I love it. I think it's great. His debut album, or novel, Triple O Blue, was shortlisted for the Authors Club Best and First Novel. How cool is that? Also, The Queen's Reading Room, the quote from Majestic Queen Camilla, surprisingly, unsettling, gracefully told. So she gave me a little pat on the back herself. Without further ado, let's welcome to the show our special guest with his accent, having fun, Mr. James K. McHall.
To be here.
Hey, sir, how you doing? Thank you very much. How are you doing? You doing okay?
I'm doing very well, thanks. I'm joining you from Los Angeles, where the sun is shining. It's a lovely day, and Friday the 13th was always lucky in my book. So, all good.
Good. Okay, tell us more about yourself and your latest book, sir. Okay.
Of course. Well, Hollis, as you thanks for your introduction. You've covered some of it. I'm a novelist. I'm also an art critic and an art historian, I guess you would say. So I've always had a bit of a varied career ever since I graduated, which was a long time ago now. But in all of that time, I have worked in what we could call the contemporary art world, the art business. So when I was really still quite young, I worked in a contemporary art gallery in London, which was a really exciting experience. And I did that for many years. But then at the same time, I was writing about art and teaching in universities. And so I always kind of had a double perspective, both working in the commercial art business and working in a slightly more academic, rarefied kind of sphere. But I guess the thing to say is that my new novel, The Violet Hour, is very much set in this world, the contemporary art world, and particularly the high end of it. So the really glittering, moneyed, treacherous world of high-end contemporary art, which really is, for some people it's familiar, other people won't know that much about it, which is fine. But it's a place of, money, big selling exhibitions, auction records, biennials, which are these big exhibitions that happen all over the world. And then, of course, with all of that comes big egos, monstrous egos, and jealousies and rivalries and all that kind of stuff. So it seemed to me like the perfect material for a novel.
You as you mentioned right there, boy, I tell you what, you don't just do a lot of research or you just know a lot of stuff. But we'll get to that in a second. Your main character, Thomas, described as a complex character who grapples with love, loss, and the pursuit of expression. Try to get into a little deeper into that. How do you create your character like that to get that deep and with all the different kind of nuances with that?
Well, it's hard to say. These characters, they evolve quite gradually in my mind. Before I even write anything down, they're living inside me for quite a while. But Thomas, you're right. He's a complex character. He's really the main character. There are three principal characters in this story, and I guess he's the main one. he's an artist, a painter, a globally successful abstract painter in his mid-40s. And when we first meet him, he has mysteriously run away from the art world, that whole world I was just describing. He's left New York, where he had lived for many years, and he's gone to live in this kind of beautiful wasteland of mountains above Lake Geneva. So he's run away from the whole world that had seemed to define him. And over the course of the story, this is going to make more sense. We're going to realize that he's reached a kind of crisis in his life, where he feels like basically a total fraud. He feels imprisoned by his famous image. It's become something that he can't escape and doesn't reflect his real self. And we're also going to gain more of a window into his past, which is very important. Thomas is somebody who lives obsessively in the past, and in particular, we'll learn about this early life-defining friendship he had with a woman called Lorna, who became his best friend and then became his art dealer, somebody he met when he was an art student in London, and how they gradually grew apart once Thomas became infatuated with an older man. So that's all part of what we learn about his experience as time goes on. And I see Thomas as this kind of enigma in the story, where you're gradually peeling back layers and understanding more about what makes this man tick and what has made him so, in a way, so repressed and complicated in the present tense of the novel.
Well, thanks for going into that. That's perfect. The book explores themes of lies and deceit, as you were talking about before, particularly in the context of wealth and power. How do you navigate portraying the intertwine? How do you sit down and start writing that? How does James kind of put it together where we can kind of understand that with a great sense of, ooh, I got to finish reading this book. This is good. How does James do that?
Well, one thing I should point out, Hollis, is even though I'm writing about this very moneyed, powerful sector of the contemporary art business, it doesn't really reflect my life. I've worked in this business, as I said, in an art gallery. I've observed a lot of what goes on from the margins, but in case any readers were of the view that this reflects my own life, it really doesn't. But look, I think that what I've written here partly aligns with certain shows we see on TV at the moment, like Succession or The White Lotus. I think that a lot of us have a fascination with these wealthy, powerful, elite worlds and how they work. And, the way in which lies and deceit and subterfuge are just endemic in these worlds. And they're probably endemic everywhere. Everybody lies. It's absolutely fundamental to human nature. But I do think that wealth and power can have this incredibly corrupting effect. And that's something that I wanted to portray in this novel, maybe particularly in one of the other characters. The one, I haven't mentioned him yet, an old 80-something billionaire called Leo Goffman, who in some ways, he's not a million miles from our current president. He's a real estate tycoon, lives in a penthouse above New York, and he lives this kind of life of splendid isolation, surrounded by his art collection, his art treasures, and he's answerable to nobody. He's created this world for himself where he does what he wants when he wants. He's a kind of monster, actually. He's egocentric, grasping, unrepentant. But the important thing is that as the novel goes on, I want to show how even a man like this can maybe be redeemed, or perhaps has some redeeming aspects to him. I think very few people are total monsters, and I wanted to show how this man, like Thomas the painter, like all of the characters in the story, when you peel back the various masks he wears, there's more to him.
James, are you sure you didn't take that from what's going on right now with our current situation?
Well,
I'm just kidding. No, we don't have to answer that. Don't worry. I'm just kidding.
All I would say is, I'm not answering that directly, but I think that, a novel like this inevitably reflects a lot of what's going on in the world. It's been written over the last 4 or 5 years, and it's not a political story. It doesn't pick up directly on current events, but for sure, it picks up on some of the characters, the atmospheres, situations that are occurring in the world, I think, are very relevant to what happens in this story.
Beautiful.